West Side Decorating Center. And we are on the road today to Abley Greenhouse and Garden Center. Memorial Day weekend. We'll be here today, and I will be back here tomorrow morning, too, to tell you all about the big Memorial Day weekend sale.
Did you finally turn me on? Thank you, Mr. Lewis.
Yeah, I thought about it.
Okay.
So.
Go ahead. Keep
that
going.
That voice belongs to the one and only Ernie Krieger from Ernie Krieger Appliance Service. We've been doing this
over
I don't
40
know,
years.
over 40 years. Yeah.
It's a
long time.
A great tradition.
So if you have a major appliance that's giving you trouble, give us a call. 989-752-6111. Chat with Ernie. Either help you fix it or turn it into a boat anchor.
And we've done that.
And we've done that too. Anyway, we are here at Abley, and you are invited out today till 6 o'clock. Abley's open tomorrow, 8 to 6, Sunday 9 to 5, Memorial Day 9 to 5 too. Everything you need to.
The flowers are beautiful.
Oh, they are. They really are. I mean, it is so colorful in here.
Even with it being early.
Yeah. Well, Matt said that the growing season was very good.
That's great.
Anyhow, come on out to Abley Greenhouse and Garden Center and give us a call if you have any questions about major appliances. Let's talk about the fact that almost everything today has a computer in it.
Yep.
Is that true of refrigerators too?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the controls on refrigerators. You have thermistors that are watching temperatures with air dampers that are opening and closing to make sure you've got that 0-degree temp in the freezer and your 34 to, let's say, 38 degrees inside the refrigerator compartment. And they have control boards that are loaded with relays. And so they're doing a lot of things that we didn't do in the old days. The old days you had a light, a compressor, and a fan. And maybe even later than that you didn't have a fan. It was a forced defrost. But as time has gone on, these units have become less mechanical and more electrical as far as their controls go. And the sad thing is, when that unit gets over 7 years old, sometimes you can't get the boards.
Well, that was my next question. Can you fix these things?
No. There's no real...
so you don't have access to, say, the schematics where you could actually repair the board?
Well, let's just say, especially with my kid, I mean, he amazes me as far as what he's been able to do and the stuff that he does out in the field. So you might have a power surge, a storm comes through and there's lightning and all of a sudden your fridge is down. And he'll take that board and he'll look at it and maybe some of the foil may have been blown off, so he'll hardwire it, which you really shouldn't be doing, or maybe there's an inline fuse in that board that's popped and he'll, come up with a different fuse to repair that board. But as far as you going in and doing things with varistors or transistors and even some of the relays, on the back side of a board you might have a cold solder joint that's busted off. So he'll go in there and he'll resolder those connections.
Yeah.
Because some of those boards, if they are available, are pretty pricey. Especially when you got a 10 or 11-year-old refrigerator and all of a sudden the bill on it turns out to be over, let's say, $800 because of the boards that are bad.
Better
what do
off
you
going
do?
out and buying a new refrigerator.
Exactly. Because now you'll have a new unit that has a warranty on it, and hopefully it'll last a little longer than what you just bought.
Hopefully.
Yeah, 7 to 10 years. People keep saying, "Oh, it got to be better than that." Nope, 7 to 10. It's unfortunate, but that's the way things
That's
go.
average. Some last longer, some don't. Yeah.
Correct. Some don't make it past 6 years.
What about microwaves? And the reason I ask is the price is so low to get a replacement microwave today. Does it pay to fix them anymore?
If the microwave was over $300, it's worth getting it looked at. Because most of the problems that we have with microwaves today are interlock switches. Interlock switch goes bad, you don't have any heat. The microwave acts like it's working. You
Yeah.
program your time. You pull out that coffee cup that you thought was going to be hot, and there's no heat because one of the door interlocks is malfunction, and it doesn't allow the power to come on.
My microwave is a microwave, convection, and an air fryer.
You got a very high-end specialty microwave.
And not only that, when you close the door, if you don't close it all the way, it has soft close. Closes itself.
Closes. That's wonderful. That's
And
wonderful.
it works like a charm.
I mean,
it's-
with you being so small, being
Right.
able to have that door shut by itself,
it helps.
it's a big thing
yeah,
for
it's
you.
a big thing, right? Smarty.
What can I say?
Yeah. But it's great because, most of what I do, you talk about warming up. I call it reheating because my microwave has a graphic
Sure.
interface on the side. And one of the things about 60%, it says reheat. So you take the knob, turn it down, and that reheat starts to blink, so that's what it's on. And then you set the time, like, for example, if I'm going to reheat Chinese food. All right, I brought home Chinese food.
Sure.
Set it for about 3 minutes and 10 seconds, and boom, it reheats it. And it's perfect.
And where would you have gotten that Chinese food from?
A Chinese restaurant.
Very nice. You're bad. You're bad. But you got to remember, when you're reheating, all it's doing is it's pulsing
Right.
the microwave
60% energy, I think,
Yeah.
is what it's doing.
Yeah. So when
And
you
it
get
has
it,
it has defrost. It has all kinds of things. But the other thing about it, instead of having a panel with all kinds of buttons on it, it has the knob and it has a couple of selecting things.
sure.
But when you open the door, there's also a strip inside the door where, for example, you want to do popcorn. The popcorn button is inside the door. You push that button and
Cool.
close it, and it does it.
Does it?
It's different.
Well, I know on occasion you've done popcorn for supper.
How did you know that?
I know you.
Uh-huh. Yeah. If you have a question for Ernie about major appliances that you'd like to have fixed or given you problems, give us a call, 989-752-6111, as we broadcast today from Abley Greenhouse and Garden Center, 3500 Wadsworth, just to the east of Outer Drive here in Saginaw. And tomorrow is a big day. As a matter of fact, the whole weekend, tomorrow, Sunday, Monday, a big deal because it's their Memorial Day weekend specials tomorrow. And beginning tomorrow, and this is for Saturday only, from 9 to noon only, 4.5-inch geraniums, only $4.79, regularly $5.99. 6-inch stock geraniums, only $10.79, regularly $12.99. And you must be in line to check out by noon tomorrow to get those deals. Also, they are supporting the I Support the 1% Veteran Food Pantry tomorrow. And they'll be selling hot dogs, donuts, coffee, drinks, all on sale tomorrow, Sunday, Monday, with all the proceeds going to the I Support the 1%. And I just saw Janet walk by with the bucket for the donations for the I Support the 1% here at Abley's. And I noticed a sign, if you make a $3 donation, they'll enter you into a drawing for a $100 gift card.
Oh, that's special.
So, and Matt was telling me earlier, somebody stopped in yesterday, gave him a $500 check
I heard that.
for the I Support the 1%. So, a great cause, and this is big weekend here at Abley.
Mm-hmm.
Abley Greenhouse and Garden Center, 3500 Wadsworth, on Wadsworth, just to the east of Outer Drive. Come on out and visit them this weekend and get your flowers ready to plant. And the weather's going to be good
Yes.
and getting better. All right, we'll take a break, and then we will be back. We'll get to our phones when we return.
If you need to hire, it seems
Here at Abley Greenhouse and Garden Center with Ernie Krieger from Ernie Krieger Appliance Service in Saginaw. And in Bridgeport,
Yes.
We have Dean Martin with us
All
this
right.
morning.
All right.
Are you
Dean,
going to sing us a song, or you have a question for us, Dean?
are you there?
Dean, are you there? Well, let me see here. Maybe he's gone. No Dean. Oh, that's too bad.
I
were
figured
hoping-
he probably had a drink in his hand, decided, I'm tired of waiting.
Oh, well, we lost Dean. That opens the lines, though, 989-752-6111. We're getting into the warmer weather. It's coming.
Yep.
Seriously, folks.
It will be here.
And that brings with it some humidity, which means we want to fire up the old dehumidifier.
Yep.
What do we need to do?
Well, if it's only a couple of years old, there's a real good chance that it's got a filter on it. So, and those are like a plastic mesh. So, like in the old days, they were more of a foam, and when you put it in water, it turned into a big fizzy. Well, these, you can go and get some hot soapy water, maybe use a vegetable brush and scrub them up, make sure they're nice and dry, and then you're going to slide it back down.
That's the material that's in the filter in my air conditioner.
There
the
you
front
go.
filter.
Yep. Those
And
are
I take it in the sink, put hot water, and run it right through it.
exactly. Because if you don't, it'll restrict the airflow, and then the coils that are supposed to be nice and wet will drop in temperature and they'll freeze up on you. So you want to make sure that those filters are taken care of. If your unit doesn't have a filter, then you want to look at the coils. It's usually the condenser, not the evaporator, that gets built up with dirt. And the condenser is behind the evaporator coil. And it's going to have real fine aluminum fins on it, so you want to be careful you don't fold those over. But usually you can get a bottle brush. It's got a pretty good nap to it.
Yeah.
And it's got a long handle. So if you got your vacuum cleaner with a nozzle on it and that bottle brush, you can get in there and clean that condenser coil. And that'll probably set you all up for a good season for the summer.
And many of them have discharge where you can hook a hose up,
Sure.
which is what I do on mine.
Sure.
And mine, I don't know what it is about it, but it's probably, I don't know, it's probably 12, 14 years old at least.
Good. What brand?
Right. I have no idea.
It's possible it could be a Whirlpool. Those were back then. Those were very popular, and the prices were right.
Yeah, I don't remember the name on it. Might have been Whirlpool or built by it, but it seems to work really well.
The only thing I would say for people that may not be aware of it, but if you're in the basement, of course, where most of them are located, and maybe you've got a sump, and
Yep.
that sump doesn't have a cover on it.
Yep.
So if that dehumidifier is running, it's pulling the moisture out of that sump.
Well, it's putting it back in that sump because that's where the hose goes.
Yeah, so it's a continuous cycle. That unit's going to run and run and run. So either extend that hose out and move it away from that area.
Well, it's far enough away.
Okay.
Yeah, the hose are it's probably it's probably 15, 20 feet away from.
Okay,
from
then
the
you'll
sump.
be okay.
So,
Otherwise, just find a cover to put over the sump to stop that moisture being pulled out and making that dehumidifier work twice as hard as it needs to.
but it's been a good unit, and can't complain.
No. Now we shouldn't be talking about
Yeah,
it.
it'll probably fail this year.
And the prices of dehumidifiers
Well.
have gone up.
Have they really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
No kidding.
Yep.
Oh, well, that's something to think about then.
And the other thing that you need to know is most of the dehumidifiers that are being sold are coming over the boat from China.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was pretty sure of that.
And the same thing goes. If they break, the only thing you're going to see that's available are probably the rollers that go on it and maybe a filter. Other than that, all the functional electrical parts are probably not available.
Yeah. So it becomes a throwaway.
Yep. So when it comes to that, again, you look at warranties. In a lot of places now, is, I'm going to sell you a contract. 5 years, all parts and labor. And you know what? That's not a bad deal if it's a third of what you're paying for that dehumidifier. Because most of today's new dehumidifiers, they're lucky if it makes it to 5 years. It's just,
Wonderful.
yep.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Now, is that true on other major appliances? You know, your refrigerators, washers, dryers, the like?
Yeah, same thing goes. If somebody's offering you a 5-year and it's a third of what you're paying for it, I would say go for it, because the amount of electronics that we have on our units, it's expensive. An average service call in some cases could be $400 or more because of the parts.
So, if I buy one of those service contracts,
Yep.
the machine breaks down,
Yep.
and they can't get the parts,
Then they're going to have to replace that unit.
they do replace the unit. So
Yeah.
there is a guarantee that you're going to have something that works.
Correct. One way or another, they're going to make it right by you. And sometimes with the major manufacturers, if they can't provide the proper parts, they're not available. I've seen them do a buyback. You know, they'll say, okay, you've had it for 3 years, you paid $1,800, we're going to give you $1,100 back so you can go buy another unit. Or they may give you the option to buy another of their brand at a reduced price.
Yeah.
It depends on what you want and how hard you want to push that envelope.
It's just that we don't fix much anymore, do we?
I would say it's 50-50.
Yeah. Chuck is in Bay City, so let's see what Chuck's got going on. Chuck, good morning. You're on with Ernie Krieger.
Morning, gentlemen. Ernie, you got a note to call me on your desk, but I thought you guys have open lines right now, so I thought
Sure.
I'd call in.
Good. What can I do for you?
Some years ago, when Sears went out of business, I bought one of their $1,200 expensive, cheaply built dishwashers.
Okay.
And recently, the pump went on it, and your tech guy came out and repaired it, and that was like $500 and some just for a pump and stuff. Yeah, I said, okay, I'll probably get another 3 years out of it, and sparingly used. It's not like I have 5 kids home or anything like that.
Sure.
I don't. It's very lightly used. So, all right, so it got fixed, and then earlier this year in January, and then I went to Florida. I was gone for quite a while. And when I came back for short term, I didn't fill the dishwasher up. I just, I did them dishes by hand because I was going to be leaving long before I'd fill the dishwasher up. But anyhow, now it doesn't heat well or dry well, I should say. The dishes, any ceramic dish will dry, but metal items like your forks and spoons and silverware, all that, and pans and that, doesn't dry well. What would cause that?
There could be an issue. You do get some heat, though, right?
Yeah, it dries some, yeah. And it never did that before the pump went. When your tech guy came over, before that, it was okay. Is there something that maybe he would have been fooling around with that needs to be hooked up or something wrong?
How long ago was that pump put in?
January, but I was gone all winter.
So
I just got back
This January
I got back 2
recently.
weeks. Yeah, just past January. And then I got back a couple weeks ago, and I called your office, and they said they were going to have you call me because it was past the time where the tech guy could call up, and they wanted a charge again, and they said they'd have you call me because of the fact that I was gone. But the point is, it's odd that
If there
anything
was
metal is not drying right.
Yeah. Again, not knowing whether or not you have. Let me ask you. So, at the end of a cycle, do you usually pop the door open and let the steam out, or do you just leave it closed until the next day when you want to get stuff out of the dishwasher?
It depends when when I start the dishwasher. If I start it in the evening, it's 3 hours. So
Yep.
if I go to bed, I do it in the morning. If not,
Sure.
if it's during the day, then I open it up.
So when you wake up in the morning and you open that dishwasher, can you tell that there was heat inside of it? I know you're
Yes.
telling me the
Yeah.
plates are heat. So
Yeah, the
unless
plates are. But anything metal is not. It's
All
got
right.
moisture on it.
I would double check. There may be an issue with the vent in the door that opens up to let most of that moisture out, and maybe it's not opening the way it should. So the stuff that would normally dry, like you're saying, the silverware in the basket, isn't getting that exhaust. So there could be a problem with the vent in the door. I guess what I need to do is on Monday, I'm sorry, on Tuesday, I'll get with the shop and find out what they actually did, and then
Okay.
I'll give you a call.
All right.
All right. I appreciate it, Ernie.
Take
You're
care.
welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks
Take
for
care.
calling.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. We'll take a break here at Abley Greenhouse and Garden Center. 752-6111 is the number to call. 989-752-6111 to chat with Ernie Krieger.
Summer
Greenhouse and Garden Center with Ernie Krieger from Ernie Krieger Appliance Service in Saginaw on Bay Road. We had a listener call in. They have a question about buying refrigerators. He has a top freezer, bottom refrigerator.
Good.
Some people tell him, no, you want to get a bottom freezer. Others say you want to get a French door. If you were going to buy a refrigerator today, what would it be?
One that makes my wife happy, or one that I want? Now, there's a big difference.
One that probably makes your wife happy, obviously, would be a what?
A French door,
French door.
Yeah.
One that would make you happy would be,
a single door on top and the bottom
like
freezer.
I have a bottom freezer
Yeah,
unit.
yeah. Because, as we get older, you don't want to get all the way down in the vegetable drawer to, get your beer out or...
I don't want to get all the way down in the freezer either, though.
Well, but it's convenient. I mean,
The one I would eliminate, if I were looking, my first elimination is a side-by-side. Mainly because I just don't like the freezer space.
yeah,
They
it's
seem narrow. They seem not as much
tough
capacity.
to get a pizza in.
Yeah, you can't put. Yeah, so I would eliminate a side-by-side.
Okay.
My first choice is a bottom freezer.
Yes.
My second choice would be French doors, or now you can get 5 drawers and all this stuff. But that's a lot of gimmick.
More whistles and bells.
Yeah, more whistles and bells
More
and computers.
expense. Yep.
So I would probably, if it were me, and it's what I've done, I'd get a bottom freezer.
Yeah. And for the person that called in, he's used to a single door, having everything right there in front of him,
Right.
and then the freezer on the bottom.
Is one more efficient than another?
Well, when they first came out, the bottom mount units were more efficient than what we had with the freezer on top. So I would say the cost of operation with a bottom freezer is probably the more practical and economical unit that you can get.
So for this particular person, if he needs to replace his top
Unit.
freezer unit, he's used to a single door.
Yep.
He'd be better off with a bottom freezer because it's what he's used to, except the freezer changes location.
Correct.
Are many of these today, if you buy a bottom freezer refrigerator, are there separate cooling systems for the refrigerator and the freezer?
Yes, there are. And there are the more traditional where you have the freezer in the bottom with the fan that shoots the air up into the refrigerator. The nice thing about having the refrigerator separate evaporator is it's a whole different control. It's a whole different animal. And your foods will actually stay a lot fresher. You're not pulling all the moisture out like you would with a traditional unit where the fans are constantly drawing moisture to a coil that's running, below zero temps.
I think that's what I have.
Yeah.
I'm not positive, but I think it's what I do have a bottom freezer though, and I do like it.
Good.
So it.
I hope that gives them some direction.
Yeah. So there you go. Now
Yeah.
we don't know if he needed to buy one or not. He didn't say. He just was asking for opinion as to what to get.
Yep. And it's hard to say when it comes to manufacturers. Again, you're going to want to know what the warranty is, what's covered, what's not covered, if they're going to offer you an extended warranty, and what's that going to cost. In some cases, it's more difficult to figure out what brand to buy than what one you actually want.
So let me ask you this. There are refrigerators out there that cost $1,000.
Yes.
There are refrigerators out there that cost $2,000.
Oh, yeah.
And there are refrigerators out there that cost $10,000.
Yeah, you might be talking about Sub-Zeros.
Sub-Zeros and the like.
Yep.
And,
Viking.
Yeah, Viking, and even I think Jen Air has a super line.
Yeah, they're competing with the Sub-Zero.
Right, yeah, exactly. Do you get your money's worth?
Well, they sure look good.
Yeah, I know they look good. That's not the question.
Well, the refrigerator, whether it's an $800 or a $10,000, is going to keep your food somewhere between 36 to 40 degrees.
And that's
That
the
doesn't-
bottom line.
Yep. And
All
the
right.
freezers are all going to run at 0.
All right, we got to take a break. Come back. We'll get to Caitlin in Shields when we return with Ernie Krieger.
Ultima fungicide out.
Now, Shields, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Hi there.
Hi. Hi,
What can we-
guys.
what can we do for
three
you?
things. I have had 3 top refrigerator, bottom freezer, Amana refrigerators. Not 3 because they've died, but 3 because it was easier to leave them in the house when I moved out and then get a different color.
Yeah.
My thing is this. How many times do you open your freezer door compared to your refrigerator? And how many times do you want to bend over and look in the refrigerator versus
Yep.
stand up and look in it?
Yep.
It's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Yep, that's
They're
why I have one.
and you can't kill them. I'm sorry, you can't kill them. But anyway, the other thing is, I had one of your repairmen come out and look at my 26-year-old Maytag dryer that died. And he took out a part, and he said, we have this gentleman in our repair department, older than dirt, and he's got all these pieces and parts, and he'll finagle something together, and I will bring it back. And I said, okay. And I had to work, and I had a dog, and he said, the dog, obviously golden retriever, is not going to bite him. And he said, okay. Well, anyway, he came back while I was gone. He put it in. He put the dryer back. He left the $60 bill on the table, and I was absolutely thrilled.
Special.
Wonderful.
The
I
guy
appreciate
that's older than dirt, did he mention it was Ernie?
No names were given, probably for the privacy of those involved, but I don't care. It was fantastic, just wonderful.
You know,
So,
that old
thank
Maytag
you.
dryer, the older Maytag dryer, those are workhorses. They
betcha.
really do go.
I have 3 sons, all in sports, and they got their workouts, both the
Cool.
washer and the dryer.
Cool.
So I appreciate it, but I just wanted to say, from a convenience, actually, what turned me on to getting this type of refrigerator with the bottom freezer was being on vacation, and the rental cabinet that we had a pink one in it.
Oh, jeez.
And aside from being ugly and old, I said I liked the fact you can just open it up, you can look around, you can see everything, and it's just I'll never go to another style, never.
But I'll bet, you know, like with Art having the bottom freezer and a refrigerator on top, he has to get a step stool to get up to the top shelves.
Stop.
You know, I was just thinking, is that hard for him to see?
Not at all.
Okay, Zing, we got you. Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Been a pleasure.
Appreciate the
Thanks.
call. Have a great holiday.
Thanks for calling.
Will do. You're welcome.
Take care. Bye-bye now. Oh, we have these people trained.
Well, it's been over 40 years. What can you say?
You know, that's true, and it really. I mean, how many places in the country have shows that do this, and